This is the Apex Lifestyle coming at you again with another episode of Unfiltered. And today we have the one, the only, Mitchell Bay, aka Little Canada,
What's up, man?
aka the Canadian CARTI, as some may have said before.
Fuck you.
But let's get it started. You're from Victoria area, like British Columbia?
Yeah, I'm from Victoria. I was born there. Yeah, I was born there, pretty much grew up there and shit. It's like fucking, yeah, that's where I'm from. Safe to say. I kind of bounced around a lot, but I'd say, yeah, Victoria.
Like for me, as someone who's never been to Canada, like how would you say it is? It's like compared to the U.S.
It's actually, I would say it's really not too different as much as like people would think. Even as much as say Canadians would think that the States is different and Americans think that that Canada is different. It really is not too much. Like really the only difference I notice is maybe like products. Like we have a couple different products here and maybe not as many like we got Uber a bit later and stuff like that. But really, it's not too different. It's kind of like all comes down to a North American thing, I guess. Everybody's. I've pretty much only been to the like northwest of the states, like Oregon and Washington there. But so maybe that's because it's so close to Canada. Maybe that's why I haven't noticed any differences. But even with people I've communicated with, it's not too different.
Okay, so as far as your name Mitchell Bay, is that actually your real name or is that like a reference to something else like Mitchell Bay? Is that like a community in Ontario or something?
It's like it's sort of a funny story. It was a friend kind. We were just kind of all hanging out. We were all engaged in some drinking, hanging out, and eventually there is an area nearby where I live in British Columbia called because there is Thunder Bay, Ontario, but then there's literally a Mitchell Bay. It might be Mitchell's Bay. I think it's Mitchell Bay though. And a friend just yelled it at me. It stuck. And then when I started releasing the raps I recorded for so long, it was like that was just the name I went with because that was my nickname.
How long have you been doing music?
Oh shit. I haven't. I guess I've kind of dabbled always. I don't really have any musical training per se. Like even if you go and listen to my music, I have like some stuff up from as far back as a couple years ago. The timing of the flow is always like a bit off. Like I'm just now starting to get my flow correct because I never like played keys or anything like that. I started like kind of writing and play recording in around 2009. Started dropping like little freestyle remixes and stuff like in the last year of high school, like 2012, 2011. And then I probably really started like taking it 100% serious around like late 2014.
I looked at your YouTube. I saw your first video you posted was September of 2011. So
Yeah.
that kind of gave me like some context of how long you've been doing it.
Sure.
But what was like the point where you like started to take it seriously?
Probably like I had done a show with an artist that everybody on the island in my province kind of had looked up to. It's an Evil Ebenezer. He's kind of like a more of an old school hip hop revival type artist. But I did a couple shows with him and just kind of getting to work with somebody I had already been listening to for so long. And it kind of just went from there. I started taking it more and more serious, and it just kind of grew from a hobby, kept growing from a hobby, and now I do it like full time.
So what was like the point where you were like, I could really like do this full time? Like, was there like a certain point, like after you came up with a certain song or something?
As it is, there probably is like a specific moment in time when that did happen. I was I was I was like I was performing. It was like my first real actual show, and it was my first real show. And I got up there. I was the first person to perform. I was supposed to be the second one, but it was cool. I didn't have a problem with it. I was just like, okay, I'll be the first. But it was still just that extra kind of anxiety. So, but I got up there, and by the time I started, I think it was my second or third song, there was this specific moment where people like got up from the bar area and walked over and like started dancing and stuff. And they actually, like, when people took the time to enjoy themselves, for the first person out of, like, it was one of those bills with like 6 kids performing and then Evil comes on at the end type thing. And being the first one to see people come up and move to my music, I was like, holy shit, I gotta, like, this is what I gotta do. Pretty much, I haven't really, everybody else that I know has things that they do. They're good at building shit or painting shit or anything like that. But I think when I did that, I was like, okay, this is my shit. And then, so now I'm doing it. So now we're here, and it's very good. It's very positive. There's some fuckery, but I mean, there would be fuckery at any office, any cubicle.
So I did some research on your Twitter. You had some interesting photos. Let's start with the one with you and Little B. I guess that was back in 2015.
Yeah.
Like, tell us about that. Like, where was that exactly?
That was like a Lil B show. Dude, he's amazing. He fucking like, and the thing is everybody who's been listening to Lil B for any amount of years knows that he'll know you. And like, he, after the show was done, he waited. Like, security was like pissed off and they like wanted him to leave and get out. It was late and shit. He stayed there until every single person got a picture or an autograph or whatever. And I shook his hand, and he remembered me from Twitter and shit, because I started, my homies put me on the Bass World in like 2013. That was even way later. Like, they had been on it since like fucking he was in the pack in like 2004 too, and stuff like that or whatever, when he was with Too Short and shit. So they showed me him, and I was like, at that point I'd only been listening to like Joey Badass was like the only new person I was listening to and shit. I listened to Lil B, and that like all melted away. I listened to Lil B, and then I got into Gucci Mane and Waka Flocka. But so anyways, I would tweet this at Lil B all the time, and he remembered this. And so we dapped him up, and he was like, hey, well, he's like, and he just asked me, he was like, I'm glad you made it to the show, this and that. He was like, you look good, because I talked about how fucking listening to Lil B had me like working out and like being more healthy and shit. He was like, you look good, you look beautiful, like only like Lil B can, right? It was so funny ass shit. So that's why we're both kind of just like chuckling a bit in that picture, talking, because he's just he's got like the, like in the Dave Chappelle shit with Rick James, the orange aura. It's like that. It's the orange aura. Like, it's like holy fuck. But yeah, no, that was funny. That was funny and fun. That was a good time.
I feel like Little B is one of probably the few celebrities who, how you picture them is probably exactly how they are.
Yeah, no, I'd say that's 100% accurate. No, that's dead on. That's a really good way of saying it, actually. because a lot of people don't even like look at him as a celebrity because he stays on that level with people so much. Like if you're genuinely sad and shit, you can tweet at Lil B and he'll probably fucking DM you and be like, I love you, bro. Just what's going on? Like, how can I help you? And he'll just like, he's just a genuine person and it's fucking insane.
I think Little B is definitely. I think he kind of paved the way for the new wave a little bit, in a way.
For sure. It's like being yourself, not taking everything so super serious all the time. Even like certain sounds, the crazy ad libs and shit. There's like a lot of that shit. It's like exhibit bass. It's like the square root of like the new age of hip hop kind of. It's fucking crazy.
Something else I saw on your Twitter page.
For sure.
You and Curtis from 2-9.
Yeah.
Was that at a 2-9 show? I'm guessing.
Yeah, that was at another show, but again, like just from Twitter and shit, because like I had like supported 2-9 and like for one, I've always credited Fat Man Key as like one of the most talented writers in music. A lot of people don't know that he is a writer, and that's the way that, in my opinion, it should be. Ever since the whole Drake controversy, everybody's like credit, but then there's people like Key, and even you have those like Lady Gaga. Before she started putting out her music, she was writing for Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, shit like that. She doesn't, like, I'm not even a fan of that bitch, but she doesn't hop on fucking TV, and she's not all like, and you need to put respect on my name because I paved the way and I wrote for Britney Spears and all of them and this and that, like how rappers and R&B singers kind of do. It's weird. But he's an actual artist about that shit. And you can hear, he even said it himself, Fat Man Key, I wrote the game. And so, I don't know. So Curtis, after they were done their set, he recognized me and we linked up and fucking, yeah, we were just talking and shit, talking about like music, Canada. Fucking, we drank a lot. Curtis is crazy. He's probably like, out of all the rappers I've seen or like interacted with, he probably like intakes the most alcohol. He's insane with it for sure.
How does that feel when another artist recognizes you? And is it like a level of respect that you feel when that happens?
Kind of, yeah, but sort of just like any other kind of respect I do with any other sort of person who's talented. Or I have a lot of I don't have a lot of friends, but I have a lot of different friends. I have friends who do film, friends who do kind of, so I'm not like some crazy secret, I know this guy and this guy. I don't really know anybody, but I just sort of end up in situations where I've been genuine in the past, and I guess genuinity is so rare that and then I stick out. So my shiny ass, I show up and they're like, oh, I remember what you said, like I've heard so and so. Okay, yeah, cool. And then yeah, no, it is nice though when because you get that moment sort of halfway through the conversation where it's like, oh shit, like this is one of my favorite artists, like that's crazy. But then you just talk about normal shit.
Was it similar when you first linked up with Kinanza?
Yeah, Kinanza. I think it could be like either way because he does have a bit of Hispanic, I believe, is in there. But yeah, no, this is the homie. I haven't gotten to meet him in real life yet, but he put me on. He actually gave me the like kind of secondary nickname type name of Lil Canada. Just randomly started calling me that, and I've had work. I was doing a lot of online collaborating with Curb Lagoot. And so Key kind of helped Curb find his own sound, and Key has endless amounts of work with him. So we were working, and Curb had a beat from Key Nanza, and we hopped on it. I was really excited about that because if you go back in Key Nanza's catalog, he's produced a lot of crazy legendary shit. He produced Ice Age by Denzel Curry. Countless songs by Puya and Fat Nick and all those guys. If you go back on Puya's Twitter, there's like tweets about he's tweeting at Fat Nick saying, "Hey, come over, man. We're at Key Nanza's house, this and that." Like, he really is a slept on kind of legend for sure. So he asked me if I wanted to join his collective, Swish Money Gang, and I was completely 100% up for that because he also just kept sending me beats. He engineers my vocals on every beat I rap on of his. He engineers it. And just, yeah. So even though that's just online at the moment, we're probably going to link up. And when we do, we're probably going to bang out a crazy tape. It's going to, like, that'll be nuts. Because when we link up in person, I think the energy is going to be crazy. We're probably just going to, like, sit down and do a tape in, like, an afternoon. And it's probably going to be my best music. But, no, yeah, I was honored that he, like, took the time to just randomly send me beats and talk to me about my flow and shit and my voice and what I can do and whatnot, and to just really kind of take an interest in me. And that kind of elevated my confidence. And with that, with the confidence, I was able to sort of also criticize myself reasonably, not too harshly. And so that kind of led to me getting a better rhythm. So with Key Nanza, I guess he really liked how I went in on one of the beats on the song Cincy Young with Curb Lagoop. He really liked my verse on it, and so he wanted to work, and then it just kind of went from there.
As far as the collab with, say, the Suicide Boys, did that happen through Kanaza since he had the connection with, like, Puya and Fat Nick?
Actually, that shit's kind of crazy because the Suicide Boys, they, of course, didn't come out of nowhere, like, in the sense get to the level that they are at now overnight. It did take a few years, but I remember when they started, and I'd already been rapping a couple of years, but they've just had this crazy chemistry and we're improving so fast and dropping like 2 mixtapes a month for about a year straight. And so I was like, holy fuck, this is crazy. So back then they had Facebook. And so we just linked up, and they knew me from my posts and my comedy shit and then my rap shit. And they knew I was an all right guy. And so I just asked them, I was like, hey, can I get a beat? Like, wanted to get a beat, but I was like, I want both of you to produce it, though. That would be really cool, instead of just Scrim. And then they're like, yeah, so I just wanted to buy a beat. And then I was like, hey, if I pay for, like, studio time or, like, however much you would charge for your home studio, you want to hop on the song too? Because back then it wasn't really this it wasn't like like features, like it wasn't a thing that was constantly being like sold, but they were getting so big and touring all the time. And I knew that their time literally was money at that point, and that recording the song, if they just did it, then they would be missing out on money. So I just threw them, I bought the beat and then gave them the studio time. And then we made the song, and that was back in like 2015. And then I just held on to it. I don't really know why. I kind of just did. I didn't really want to release it, and then there never came a point when I wanted to, and then I wanted to, so I did. Like it was weird. I was just kind of woke up one day. It was like, it's time. I re-recorded my parts uh, back like a couple days before it was released. I re-recorded my parts because I just, like I was saying about the rhythm, I just got better at hitting rhythms with flows. So it was still all the same lyrics, but just more musically put together.
So, as far as the Xavier Wolf collab, like did that come about in a similar way where you just reached out to him and held on to it, or was it like a little bit different?
A supporter of Wolf and just had him on my social media and shit like that ever since Raider Clan, when he was Ethel Wolf. And when we made that song, again over the internet, he was just making the transition to Xavier Wolf. So he hadn't even put out the collaboration tape with Bones or anything like that. He was kind of just he put out a couple songs with Bones. And he was making the transition to Xavier Wolf. And so I was kind of starting to get better and transitioning into an actual artist. And we both kind of it just happened. Like my friend, the homies DeBars and Sean Webb, who produced the beat samples one of my favorite Wolf verses. And so Wolf heard it and was like, this is hard. And he was living at the time, I believe, or at least pretty much there all the time, over at Bones' house, at Elliot's house. Bones' brother, who manages them and does all their media, and he handles a lot of that stuff. And so I started communicating with Elliot a lot. I kind of told him my story, and he was like, fuck yeah, man, that's the same reason we're doing this shit. We moved all the way out here from Michigan to California to do this shit. And like Eddie Baker, Chris Travis, Black Smurf, all those guys were just together making music every day. So at that point, it was pretty much just like we all kind of just crossed paths at the same time.
If you could describe your music, like how would you describe it if you could choose one word?
I'd say I'd probably just go with like experimental, to be honest, like, because I don't know if it meets, because I guess experimental is an actual genre. But I literally just experiment. I don't know. Sometimes when I did that stuff on Suicide Bay, and the engineer was like, oh yeah, and they were referring to it as, you're singing on this. I'm like, not singing. I was just like saying how I felt on the song. I didn't know that counted as like, so I never know really what I'm doing. So I experiment, so I guess I'd just call it experimental.
So, who would be some of your influences?
Tupac, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, Dash and Wretch. Currency's definitely like, he's up there. The Haji Beats from Odd Future, to be honest. Key, yeah, no, I really like everything he puts out. Honestly, I want to collaborate with Space Ghost Perp. I would fucking love to work with Larry June. The person I want to work with is Trippy Jones, Babyface Dixon, and then yeah, those are probably the main people.
As far as your all-time top 5 artists or rappers of all time, dead or alive, who would it be?
If it was no order, I'd probably go Big L, Cameron, Mac Dre, DJ Paul, Snoop.
Now we're about to get into like a little trivia game. Basically, I'll recite a line from a song, and you just gotta guess to tell me the artist and the name of the song. And the catch is, if you can get at least 3 out of 5 right, then that means I have to freestyle. But if you don't get at least 3, then you gotta freestyle. First one, it says, let's get gory like a Tarantino movie.
Let's get gory like a Tarantino movie. I almost want to think it's like, I don't know the song. I almost think it's like some Wu-Tang shit. Because that seems like some shit Ghostface would say. But some like movie shit like that. But no, you got me on that one. I don't know. What is that?
That's Amine with the song Caroline. She jiggy like Madonna, but she trippy like Nirvana.
Fashion Killer.
You gotta give me the artist name too.
Oh, ASAP Rocky. Sorry.
Pussy must be serious. Scared our heights can face your fears.
Must be serious. I can almost kind of hear it. Is it another Rocky song? I got nothing, man.
Wiz Khalifa, we them boys. Alright. I be in the club, standing on the couch, in them with grays, like it's my house.
DJ said this. At 23 with Mike Will and Miley Cyrus and Juicy J.
I got bras in Atlanta, twisting dope, leaning shit, sipping Fanta.
Oh shit! Is it Panda by Designer?
And well, I guess that means you got 3 out of 5, so that means I got a freestyle. Alright, shit. I guess I'm gonna just go off the top, acapella. Just throw a word at me. Let me see if I can try to like.
Yeah, for sure. If you want, I'll still freestyle after you if you want to.
Oh shit! Alright, hey man.
Okay, yeah, like it's no problem. It's a word. How about shark?
Yo, I'm a shark. You can catch me in the dark, deep blue sea. Come and see me. You know how I be. The homie AP with the homie Mitchell Bay. He on TV, but not really. We on the webcam, steady over the internet. Yeah, we keeping it heavy, live and direct, coming for your neck. Best protect when I come for the deck. And I'ma pass it off to the homie Mitchell Bay. Now tell me how it was when you was living your day.
Bay, Mitchell Bay. What's my initials? Hey, it's MJ. That's the legal name. Mitchell Jean Bo. MJ. Ball like 23. Like the question he just asked me. He passed me the ball. Then I just passed 3 more times. I don't have any more rhymes.
Yeah, man. You got any closing remarks you want to give? You could drop your social media tags. I mean, you could just let the people know whatever you want. This is basically the floor is yours right now.
Okay. Well, my Twitter is just at all capital letters on this. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. But then it's at Mitchell Bizay. So at Mitchell, like just my name, at Mitchell, and then Bizay is Bizzay. And then my Instagram is Mitchie D Luffy. So it's like Monkey D Luffy from One Piece, but just Mitchie D Luffy. And then on SoundCloud, you can find me as just Mitchell Bay.
Time, the homie Mitchell Bay, Little Canada, aka Canadian CARTI. There it is. Take it easy, bro.
Tell 'em.
What up, Trippy? What up, brother? We some young OGs in this bitch, though. This is a clip, fuck.